On this particular video, as I'm heading to Lexington to do more DOORDAsh, and this is the last day of the week, my understanding. I want to actually talk to you guys about calculations, how I do, and stuff like that. But first, I want to actually tell you guys something. You guys do know that I am somewhat do understand the legal system, and anything you put on the web, it's permanently there for anybody to use. So when I'm going to say things, I'm not going to say things from this is exactly what I made. I am going to say, hey, what if you guys figure it out. So hey, and I see somebody's already liking the video. Appreciate it, guys, because this channel really desperately needs some subscribers, some likes, so it can actually be exposed to other people out there. So I appreciate it, guys. Now, as you guys know, this is what, my 15th day in a row. I worked every day. On Monday, I had a little bit less than a half of a day. So I worked at in a local market, about 20 minutes away from where I live, compared to driving 50 minutes to Lexington. So it wasn't, a full day. On my full day, if I'm making $20 an hour, running for 10 hours, that would probably put me around $200, right? Or maybe not. So Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday, I ran for 10 hours. And then on Saturday, yesterday, I ran for about a quarter of that, for about 2.5 hours. I went out, had the cheesecake, and that didn't go well with me. Even though I enjoyed every piece of the meal. I had salmon, I think it's called crispy salmon with the lemon juice or lemon sauce, something like that. It's my favorite, but I don't know why it didn't go well. Now, you guys gonna ask, you do have expenses, you have that extra expense of going to and from Lexington. Yes, that's about 85-90 miles I have, honestly. Depends, from where you measure to where, or from home to, and where do you stop measuring in Lexington. So you have that expense there. On actual fuel, it's about, when I go back and gas up, right now the fuels are slightly under $3. So I'm averaging about $19, $20, $21 on a full day of run. So not too bad. About 10% of my daily earning if I go for a full day. If you guys watched my episode 2, which I would recommend you guys to watch, you'll find there where I did the calculations. And of course, I have not recalculated right now for Lexington, which I need to sit down and do that. But at that point, when I was driving in Denver, my vehicle cost, that's complete, that's insurance, that's depreciation, which the way I look at depreciation is not how quickly the price of the vehicle drops, is when something happens to the vehicle that you're running and you no longer can run with it. What will it cost you to get another vehicle that is actually of equal value at the time when you put the vehicle in service? That's the way I look at depreciation. Because, most vehicles, according to IRS, depreciate within 3 years. So that means you used it for 3 years for your personal use. Right now you have a depreciated vehicle. That's the way how DOORDAsh and other companies out there is calculated, because they're considering your vehicle has zero value because it's more than 3 years old. And that's not fair to you, right? Let's say you have a 3 years vehicle has 40,000 miles on it. You bought it for about 40, 45,000. Let's say you have a nice Prius. And then you go out there and things happen. You know, that your insurance company, for some reason, says, you know what? You were not covered because you were using it for business use. You were using it for DOORDAsh. And yes, there is insurance companies that will not cover if you do not have that extra coverage that you can buy with him for using for gigs purposes. There's some companies that will not cover you at all, and if they find out that you're using, like example, for Uber Eats or Uber Taxi, Lyft, or even DOORDAsh, they will terminate your insurance. Yes, there's few companies that doesn't need anything, they still will cover you. So you run into in that situation where they will not cover you. Right now, you lost a $35,000, $30,000 probably book price, maybe $25,000 value. You don't have money put aside to replace that vehicle, but the DOORDAsh considered to them your vehicle depreciated already. Its value is zero. So yeah, that's why I take an approach a little bit differently towards depreciation. I look at it from the time of when you put the vehicle to use. You depreciate certain amount for that period, so you can replace that vehicle at the time for equal value. Now, when I did that calculations, that was about 2-3 months ago when I did the video, my cost was 31 cents a mile. IRS offers 56 cents a mile. For every mile you drive, you get a deduction on your tax. So I'm honestly at the 31 cents a mile, and I run a little bit over 200 miles a day, about 220 on average. That puts me at about $60, $65, $66. I'm sorry, I'm doing all these calculations on the fly in my head. I don't have a calculator in front of me as I drive and speak to you guys. So that's, gives me roughly, if I make 200, about 140 take home. Now, with IRS situation, I have 56 cents. So I can actually write off of roughly about $110 out of those 200, which I have still taxable of $90. So yes, guys, these are kind of the numbers on a full day run. Now on a half day run, numbers will be a little bit different, and I'm not going to go into that because for me it's not worth going to Lexington for a half day run, but I might do half day run going to Danville, where it's a nearby market, small town, just to keep my active status, so I'm active every day on DOORDAsh side of things. So kind of covered that portion of it. If you guys have not watched my last night's video on, what is it called? Something about DOORDAsh started going on self-destruct way. Something like that, I don't remember the exact words. Definitely watch it. There's a lot of things that's happening, and if you look around and you have opportunity to see things that's happening around you, you can see opportunities launching for you. A little bit of knowledge, a little bit of experience, and you actually can position yourself in a perfect spot for something big, something amazing, something that can feed you and your family for years. Now, very rarely you can launch a company like Microsoft, like Dell, IBM, and if you're looking at the IBM, Their exciting years are in the past, but they're still around. But an average company that does not fail in the first 3 years have a chance to run for about 10 to 15 years, just for enough when the owners, those people that actually put the company together, decide to step away and enjoy life. And the person they put to run the company in their place is not knowledgeable enough or doesn't care enough. And that's when the reverse of growth starts for that company. So it's very important to kind of keep in mind, no matter what kind of business you start, if you're going to start stepping away from that business, the chance that business has is actually start slowly falling apart. We're seeing with DOORDASH, those people that originally started the company, I do not know the history of who started. By my personal opinion, the guy that's right now in control, he has less than 5 cents of understanding the system of DOORDASH. He understands the company. He understands the shareholders. He understands he needs to bring profit. He understands he needs to reinvest that profit. But one thing that he doesn't understand is how it's run on the ground. How you and I make it happen. Just imagine a bunch of gears. Maybe you walked in 10, 15 years ago and to auto parts, and you see that gear thing that you churn, and I think Lucas was inside, and they would show actually how oil gets spread around the gears. Just imagine the company is a bunch of gears. Various different functions are performing and makes the whole machine run. And if you're having a problem with one gear, you resolve the problem with that gear. You don't say, you know what, we're going to get rid of it, and we're going to rebuild the whole structure here with a new gear. With a gear that actually probably going to have even bigger issues. There's another sayings out there. If there's a bike built, don't rebuild, don't recreate one. Fix the problem that the bike already has. We have a fantastic company, DOORDASH. Let's put it that way. I came in, I tried to advise them. I tried to free, no charge. I tried to tell them, hey, this thing needs to be. For some of the things, they listened. But it feels like they take 2 steps forward and 4 steps back. 2 steps forward, 4 steps back. And in reality, it's like I have to chase them. I'm not interested in chasing. I might as well start something on my own. And I don't want to start on my own. I don't mind, running it, making sure that it's properly ran, and we stick to the basics. The basics of the law of business. Stuff that's been taught for 100 years, not stuff that actually out there. And you guys probably gonna lose me. I'm going into a valley. Hopefully not. But see what actually happens in the last 20 years of business world. Somebody in somewhere out in the middle of anywhere, let's say in China, in Korea, or who knows where, puts together a business, reinvent something new, and it works for them, for his particular business. So what he does, he writes a book. That book gets accepted with all the universities. Now they teach this to kids. I'll call them kids, because even they're 18, they still kids in their head. So then they become CEOs of the companies, and they try to implement the stuff that works somewhere, but it's not designed for their type of business. And that's when the companies that might have had huge positive opportunities that became something huge and big, they start crumbling down. They start failing. Because He had knowledge from the books of where he went to college, but there's no common sense in his head whatsoever. Instead of thinking it through and making sure that it actually works in his virtual reality, in his imaginary reality, and looking at every single pieces of the gears, making sure that all of it's going to play out properly, he goes and implements and tests it out in the real world on a multi-million or billion-dollar company. And for me, that doesn't make sense. First, you actually run it through your imagination world. Look at all areas. Will it work? Then you sit down and you actually play it out on a table with all your board of directors, with your higher management. Make sure that every single one of them has something in their head that they can actually apply it to. And when I say something in head, I have common sense. And only then, when it passed the second test, the first test is your test, imaginary world. Then the second test at the table, only then you apply it slowly and see how effective it can be. I know majority of you guys watching this video will never be CEOs. At least half of you will never open up a company and grow it to a large level. But there's few of you, I'm hoping you guys can actually take my knowledge, take some of the things I'm saying, and sometime in the future in your life, when you are in a position to say, you know what, Slavik did say something about this. Let me think, what did he say? And you can apply it. And you can actually change the future of the company for better instead of doing these stupid moves out of the books. Instead of going to basics of running business that actually been run for hundreds of years. That knowledge. Guys, I do apologize. I started off on one thing and I went to another topic. I would really appreciate if you guys could actually, throw in some questions that actually you want me to speak on. It would actually make it a little bit easier for me, because when in my head, I think you guys will know what I know. And when I think you know what I know, then it's kind of hard to pick out what I should be talking on. So guys, I want to bless every single one of you. If you guys are out there going to be driving or already driving, bless you. Make this another fantastic day for yourself. Turn that into another profitable day. And for the... Oh, I can actually see chats. Wow, okay. So, and the rest of you, enjoy this beautiful Sunday. I hope it is beautiful in your place like it is mine. Clear skies, no wind. When I started off, it was 28 degrees. Right now it's 34 and probably will be rising. And on this day, enjoy your family. But when you do have a minute with yourself, think about what can you do that can benefit you and your family in the long run, where you do not have to be dependent on DOORDASH or anybody else. where you can actually put together something or some kind of form of business where you can leverage people's time and it can grow something for you and your family. Blessings to all, and I'll be out with